Before the bell for round one, let's take time out to visit the camps and see how each man trained for the big fight. Joe Louis makes his camp at Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. In the white T-shirt at Louis' left is trainer Manny Seaman. And here's Joe ready for a workout. He emerges from his dressing room, then huddles with trainer Seaman. It's a warm, sunny day, so Joe decides to work outdoors. In recent years, Louis has picked up a great deal of bulk in both his legs and his chest. He weighed in for this match with Marciano at 212 3/4 pounds. At the peak of his career, his effective fighting weight was closer to 200. Louis is 6 feet 2 inches tall, and when these films were taken, he was 37.5 years old. Joe has long arms, as you can see. His reach is 76 inches, 9 inches more than Rocky's 67. Before sparring, some limbering up calisthenics. Not bad for a man nearing 40. That's enough of the bicycle, Joe. Now, how about a few sit-ups? Grease on his face helps to guard against cuts that might handicap the bomber in the big fight. Then his hands are taped. On goes the helmet. And finally, the gloves. When Louis finished this intensive 4-week training siege, he had boxed a total of 92 rounds. Near the end, he blasted a sparmate to the canvas with a right-left combination. Then he went 2 rounds against well-known heavyweight Elkin's brothers. Brothers, playing Marciano, kept on crowding Louis, just as Rocky was sure to do. But Joe backed into the ropes several times and cracked his defensive shell with ripping rights. That right, you remember, has always been the bomber's most effective weapon. Yet, in the big fight, we'll see Louis relying principally upon his left jab, as he's been doing here. Joe's prediction? He'll win over Marciano by a knockout. Meanwhile, at Greenwood Lake on the border between New York State and northern New Jersey, Rocky Marciano was completing his training under the astute supervision of trainer Charlie Goldman. Rocky stands 5 feet 11, 3 inches shorter than Joe Louis. His weight going into the big fight was 184, nearly 29 pounds lighter than Joe. His reach, you remember, is 9 inches shorter. The fact is that Rocky is smaller in measurement right down the line. He was 27 years at the time, more than 10 years the bomber's junior, but 11 years shy his opponent's ring experience. The slight favorite at fight time was not Rocky Marciano, but Joe Louis. Rocky likes to skip rope, and he loves road work. Even on vacation, he likes to get up early and run a few miles before breakfast. Here's Charlie Goldman adjusting Rocky's helmet. You notice the helmet is cut a little differently from the one worn by Louis. This one has special guards to protect the cheekbones. Goldman has been Marciano's trainer right from the start. It was to Goldman that manager Al Weil entrusted this crude, unorthodox slugger who knew little about the science of boxing. Goldman, one of the top trainers in the business, is confident he has taught Rocky how to handle Louis. Here he is lacing Rocky's gloves prior to a few rounds of sparring. All in all, Rocky boxed 109 rounds while in training. You see him here wearing that cheek-protecting helmet. And if you watch closely, you'll find him ducking from time to time into a little crouch that he claims he's patterned after Jack Dempsey's. That's not a defensive crouch. It's a position for attack, a method for crowding in. He's to improve it later on in his career. Because he's shorter than most of the heavyweights he faces, Rocky often pitches an overhand right. Watch. Remember that overhand right. We'll see the Brockton strong boy using it constantly in the big fight. The day before he was to meet Louis, Rocky said, "I never predict I'll knock anybody out, but I'm confident, very confident I'll win."